In this episode of The World Must Know, we will be talking about the section of the World Must Know report that covers Senekal and the Kill the Boer trial of Julius Malema and the EFF. Let's start off with what happened in Senekal. In 2020, a 21-year-old farm manager, Brendan Horner, was stabbed, strangled and tied to a pole by attackers. This brutal murder of a young man on a farm sent shockwaves through the community and inspired thousands to gather in the town of Senekal to protest against farm murders. Horner's brutal murder was not an isolated incident, as AfriForum's extensive 2022 report on farm attacks and murders demonstrated. Between 2016 and 2021, 364 verified farm murders took place in South Africa. Horner's murder was simply the last straw for the community concerned. At the second gathering of protesters in Senekal in October 2020, the Economic Freedom Fighters, a far-left extremist party in South Africa, showed up for a counter-protest. At this counter-protest, the EFF leader Julius Malema claimed the following in his speech.
Let's put this to an end. There is no farm murders in South Africa. There are no white farmers being killed in South Africa.
In addition to this disgusting farm murder denialism, he also called white South Africans visitors to South Africa. EFF supporters also chanted the infamous song "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer" outside the magistrate's court in Senekal, where the accused murderers of Horner were being tried and while the family of the victim were inside the court. Farm murder denialist Julius Malema was photographed sitting next to the police minister Bekechele in court that day. In 2020, the Democratic Alliance, or DA, laid criminal charges against EFF MP Mbuseni Ndlozi for incitement to arson in Senekal on 16 October 2020. Ndlozi sang a song which translated to "Call the fire brigade and burn these Boers." 4 days later, runaway fires destroyed 100,000 hectares of farmland in the same province. Next, we will be discussing the trial of AfriForum versus Julius Malema and the EFF in the Kill the Boer trial. For timestamps and clips of everything I reference in this video, go check out the video on my channel called Analysis, AfriForum versus EFF Julius Malema Trial Discussion Stream, link in the description. AfriForum's hate speech case against Julius Malema, leader of the EFF, Mbuseni Ndlozi and the EFF party, was heard in the Southern Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg in February 2022. AfriForum lodged this complaint in October 2020 after supporters of the EFF sang "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer" outside the magistrate's court in Senekal, where those accused of murdering 21-year-old farm manager Brendan Horner were being tried. This case is of particular significance due to how it lays bare the political zeitgeist that is reigning in South Africa, where prominent political leaders and their supporters show no remorse for farm murder victims and often deny that this unique crime even exists, and even call for violence and killing of people or an entire race group collectively. During this trial, Julius Malema refused to condemn EFF supporters who sang "Kill the Boer" at Senekal in 2020 after he was shown video evidence of this event. Malema justified their hate speech by arguing that his supporters are angry. It was presented to the court that Malema denied the occurrence of farm murders in his speech at Senekal. Malema was presented with 2 cases in which anti-white racial hatred can be clearly connected to farm attacks and murders. Malema denied that racial hatred could play a role in farm murders, even in the cases presented. When Malema was asked whether white people could be victims in South Africa, he answered, "No, not at the current moment. No, 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 no." On 8 February 2022, day 2 of the trial, EFF supporters blocked the gate to the court when AfriForum's team left the building. After being forced by the South African Police Service to disperse, they started to chant "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer" directly at the AfriForum team as they passed by, the very song which the court case was about. Sorry, guys. When Malema was presented with a case where a mother and daughter were tortured to death and the words "Kill the Boer" were written in blood on the wall of their house, he dismissed it by calling it mere criminality and testified that he could not say whether racism was a motive in this particular murder. Referring to past comments of Malema where he said the following, and I quote, "We are not calling for the slaughtering of white people, at least for now," Malema was asked whether he would pledge that he would never call for the slaughtering of white people. Malema responded that he would easily do so. So Malema was then requested by advocate Oppenheimer to make such a pledge under oath, which Malema then immediately refused. When Malema was asked whether it could be him in the future who would indeed make such a call for the slaughtering of white people, he testified that he might call for the slaughtering of white people in the future. He could not rule out the possibility.
Now, the way a sentence is structured, you say, "We are not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now." That means at some future date, we may call for the slaughter of white people. Is that correct?
Let's deal with that at that future date. I don't know what's going to happen.
So you're saying you are not ruling out that in the future you may very well call for the slaughter of white people.
It may not be me.
Could it be you?
It could be me, yes, but it may not be me.
Yeah, so it could be you. You could, at some future date, call for the slaughter of white people.
What will necessitate that?
You tell me.
I don't know. Why would I do that?
You've said you could do it in the future. Is that correct?
I can't guarantee that I can't do it or I won't do it.
So right now,
So I'm
if I
not
asked
ruling
you to
out that
pledge,
possibility.
If I asked you to pledge, to say, "I will never call for the slaughter of white people," would you make that pledge?
I will do it with ease.
Make that pledge.
Why would I do that?
I'm asking you to make that pledge.
I don't.
You
I
said,
won't,
"I will do it."
I won't do it.
Make the pledge.
I won't do it.
You won't do it?
Yes.
I understand.
It needs to be reiterated that Julius Malema is the leader of the third largest political party in South Africa and a member of parliament. On day one of the cross-examination, when asked about his radical rhetoric, Malema testified that, and I quote, "I never said I'm someone moderate. I'm very radical and very militant." On day two of his cross-examination, Malema again described the EFF as a very radical and militant party. When asked whether he would endorse the use of violence to achieve the EFF's revolutionary aims, Malema responded, and I quote, "When the time comes and the conditions on the ground necessitate that arms must be taken, we will do so without hesitation." End quote. When Malema was asked if he is scared of killing, he responded, and I quote, "I am not scared of killing. A revolutionary is a walking killing machine." End quote. Malema demonstrated his support for the idea of holding racial groups collectively accountable for crimes that they did not personally commit, exclusively based on their race. When asked whether he still believed that all white people are criminals and should be treated as such, as he has stated in the past, Malema answered yes. When asked whether he would stop singing "Kill the Boer if he saw that there was a risk that singing it would lead to murder, Malema answered no. Advocate Oppenheimer told Malema, and I quote, "The complainant has led evidence of someone whose wife was murdered in front of him, who is now paralyzed. He testified in this court. He said whenever he hears that song, Kill the Boer, it brings back the memory of that day. He broke into tears in this court. That is trauma. That is legitimate trauma. Does that evidence motivate you to stop singing the song?" End quote. Malema responded, no. Oppenheimer asked, and I quote, "So that individual case would not move you?" Malema responds, and I quote, "No, I'm not moved." End quote. When Oppenheimer asked Malema about the legitimate pain and trauma of farm attack survivors, Malema responded, and I quote, "I said I am not moved. I said I am not moved. Let me repeat 5 times. I'm not moved by that case you brought here. I am not moved. And that if that will make me lose this court case, let me lose it. I am not moved." End quote. As you can see from the facts discussed in this video, hate speech against minorities in South Africa, the calling for murdering of minorities in South Africa, and the denial of farm murders is still a very serious problem in our country. It's not something that is just done by nobodies or anonymous people online. This is something that is being done by the leaders of some of the largest parties in this country, leaders with millions of followers on Twitter. If the things that were said in this video shocked you, if you can't even believe that it can't be real, well, don't worry, you can go check it for yourself. Go to that video that I talked about, the analysis video, the link in the description, where I go through all of these quotes that I just gave you of Julius Malema under cross-examination, but there the quotes are on screen. I wanted to use all of those clips in this video as well, but then this video would get way too long. So if you want to go see those horrible quotes for yourself and proof that he actually said those heinous things, go to that video and go watch that analysis video that's linked in the description. When it comes to all the facts that I mentioned in this video, don't just believe what I say, research what I say and check what I say. And that's made possible by the fact that you can go check out the full report, The World Must Know. That's available in the description of the video. You can go check it out for yourself, read through it in your own time. All the sources are there in the footnotes, and you can go get more context and more information about everything that I discussed in this video. This series is called The World Must Know, so I would really appreciate it if you share this video with all your friends and family and everyone, specifically people abroad, so that they know what's going on in South Africa and get the real facts. So therefore, thank you very much for everyone that's already shared, and you can also help out this video by clicking like and leaving a comment. You can also subscribe to this channel to be notified when you get the next episode in this series. You can also support AfriForum and the work that we do by becoming a member, and you can do that if you live in South Africa. You can go to AfriForum's website, www.afriforum.co.za, and click join. It's very easy. And then if you live abroad and want to support AfriForum and everything we do, you can go to Friends of AfriForum. You can just Google Friends of AfriForum, and then you can become a member there or a supporter of AfriForum through that. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for everyone that shared and everyone that leaves their comments and their feedback. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next episode of The World Must Know. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
And a lot of people fighting back against this nonsense. Conscious Caracal, whoever he or she is one of them.